Warning, the brown cloud is approaching. Some will try to outrun it. Others may not be so lucky. But don't worry, it's all part of the fun at the Chili Cook-Off for books and board games. Where the chili is hot, the flavors are bold. And Bear E has your back with the official Brown Cloud Preparedness Kit. Follow the plan. Know your exits, and whatever you do, hold your breath, because this temporary pain is all for a great cause. Join us, laugh with us, survive the brown cloud, together at Key Largo Lounge in Greeley.
Join us November 8th at 11 a.m. for the 10th annual Chili Cook-Off for books and board games at our home field, Key Largo Lounge, where our small market team is making a huge statement. Scan the code for tickets and sponsorship information.
Every day, someone in our community is facing a challenge they shouldn't have to face alone. Your business can change that. When you join the Community Pay It Forward family, your kindness becomes action, and your sales becomes hope. For as little as $20 a month, you help guide families, nonprofits, and neighbors from crisis to stability. One small step, one powerful mission, one community coming together. Join the family today. Visit the website or scan the code and become a business where people can shop with purpose and support with heart.
Hey friends, I've been thinking, we all have our strengths, right? There are things I'm great at and things I'm definitely not great at. I can talk to anyone, anywhere, but ask me to add something to a website or an app. Yeah, that's where things get a little messy. Oops, I love speaking, I love sharing stories. But social media, all those hashtags, algorithms, trends, that's a jungle I still haven't mapped out. Now, coming up with ideas that bring people together, that's my sweet spot. But bookkeeping, let's just say numbers, and I have agreed to stay in separate corners. And you know what? That's okay, because someone out there is good at those things. And when we work together, that's when the magic happens. Community Pay It Forward has never been about one person. It's a program built by many to support even more. Every single one of us brings something special to the table. We all have talents that make us strong on our own. But imagine how powerful we become when we combine them. That's the heart of Community Pay It Forward. Your skills, my skills, our hearts, working side by side to make a real difference. So tell me, what are you good at? Let's discover it together. Visit communitypayitforward.us and join the movement.
Born into a real fight wasn't right. Where can she dream here? Took a hold of her life, left at night, stepping out of her fear. Bring me home, out of love.
You know, it's really probably a good thing you all can't see me when the song's going on. I think I'm a rock star or something, and I would moidalize Theron's song if I tried to sing it. So, you know, I kind of sound like a cat that's being choked by a very large sausage. So it would be a horrible thing, and that song definitely does not deserve what I would do to it. Hey everybody, my name is Zach Clayton. I am the president and founder of Community Pay It Forward, the Come Together Compass and Pact Podcasting Networks. We are here on Lynnsday, which means one thing. My dear friend and great, wonderful giving partner, my sister in giving, is here to with us today to give free tarot readings. So you can do one of two things, or maybe a couple more, Any of you who know me, or if you want to text me a question, feel free to text me a question. My phone number is 970-692-1151. 970-692-1151. I will repeat the question, or read the question to Lynn, and she will be able to do it. But the easiest thing to do is take and put your little fingers, the little digits, to work on the keyboard and type a question in, and we will read that out, and she will read what is being said from beyond the veil. One of the other things that Lynn graciously agreed to do tonight was, you know what, I'm going to bring her on right now because I think it's really important, Lynn, that you actually had the idea to do this tonight. And we have a dear friend who's going through a bit of an issue. He's got he's going through a surgery, and we just want to do something special for him. And you suggested that we use this opportunity tonight, and I greatly appreciate that. You've worked with Frank before, and we're talking about Frank Monteforte. He's been on the show a couple times. He's been on this show many times. And the truth is, I call him Talking Zen. Because when the man talks, your stress just goes poof out your body. The man is fantastic to listen to. But you've worked with Frank before, so why don't you go on ahead and get us started on how important he is to you.
Oh gosh. So I didn't know what time Frank's surgery was this morning, but I woke up like somewhere around 6 o'clock and I started doing like the Reiki energy and stuff like that. So hopefully that, gives him a nice bubble cloud of good vibes for, when whatever was going on. But Frank just has a beautiful soul. Frank is one of those people that, you sit down and you're talking to Frank and you feel like you're talking to some wise sage from like beyond time who's just going to distill some bits of wisdom. And what you said about his voice and his energy are exactly that. He does have this like Zen-like quality that is just incredibly relaxing to be around. And I have a really good friend that he helped, and sometimes we think we know things about our friends, and in this case, I had said to my friend, hey, I know this guy Frank, he's great, he can help you with this situation, and that was it. Sometimes you got to kind of like give people the information and then just step back. And I didn't hear anything after that, and like a while went by, and then one day they let it slip out, like, oh hey, this great thing. That was Frank. Frank's responsible for that. And I went, wow. So I know that he really does help people, and also that he is capable of running a lot under the radar. I think sometimes that's something that people worry about when they work with life coaches or energy workers or anything else, that, well, it's not a doctor. Is my information confidential? Are they going to blab to their friends and all that kind of stuff? And no, Frank's the real deal. He is someone who has really focused his in the world.
Yeah, I think Frank takes everything so, he takes his responsibility to you very serious. He doesn't, he understands that this isn't this isn't his life he's dealing with. This is your life. These are the things that have happened to you. And let's be honest here. Frank has had his own difficulty. He's had his own path that he's went through. He's talked about it on our show where he had he lost a daughter who was extremely sick, and so he is one of those individuals that I often talk about. At one point in time, my grandfather told me a story, and I listened to his story as if it was a school assignment, not as if it was something I needed to hear. And I'm glad that happened then, because now when I listen to someone like Frank, I give it my all. I listen to what they're saying because I understand that the words that he speaks, the knowledge that he gives us is very important, and it does make a difference. And like I said, he is one of the people that I suggest. He's got just a wonderful program. You can go and check out his profile page by using the link below. I just had it on the share the screen there. He's also one of our giving partners. Yeah, he's going to be out a week or two, but doctor's orders. But I have a feeling he's going to try to cheat, and he's going to try to impart wisdom on people whenever he can. So I think I truly do think that he's that kind of guy, and from me and my family, my personal family, Frank, I just want to say we love you. Please get well. If there's anything we can do during your convalescence, please reach out and let us know. We're all here. And we do want to take and call on you all, okay? We are going to take, and what I want to do is put together a nice little package for him. And what I would like to have you do is, if you work with Frank, if you've ever talked to Frank, if you know him, if you've ever networked with him, and you would like to say something to him, and just to help cheer him up, record a little message for me and send it to me at I'll drop my email off here in a little bit, but send me that email, and I'm going to put it together like a little book. So it's going to be kind of like a digital card that's going to have all these messages in it. And that way Frank can take and look through this, and his wife can share it with him, and they can, we can let Frank know that we're really thinking of him, that we're loving him, and everything's going okay. So, but yeah, like I said, Frank, please know that your family, your extended family, is here. If there's anything that we can do, please let us know. So, Adrian's here.
Hi, Adrian.
Yeah. For a minute, we've got
Go away.
She took and ripped up the carpet in our entryway.
That's not no way.
And so she's very sore, and
Okay, go.
and she's very sore. And we've got our neighbor who works on floors, who's going to come over and give her an estimate about putting the floor back in it, so we don't have to worry about that. But
So what are you doing? Are you getting another carpet or?
No, never again.
yeah,
And whoa! I mean, I'm right there with you. I don't like carpets, but tell me.
After I saw all the dirt and sand that is underneath that carpet, no way.
yeah, and unfortunately we've got a couple older dogs upstairs that,
Ow, get
they're getting closer to the end of their life cycle, and truth is they don't make it outside. And
Oh yeah, no. At some point, you just kind of have to let them go and resign yourself to
yeah,
deep
well,
clean.
we had to let that carpet go because it was letting us know it was there. That's for damn sure. So, everybody, we would like to remind you that if you would like to check out Footnotes Tarot, right above me is a QR code. That is her landing page. That's Lynn's landing page. You can learn more about Footnotes Tarot. You can have a conversation with her, And if you're in the New York area and you're looking for somebody to do a wedding for you and make it a little bit more fun, you can also call on her to do that. So she can talk about that. But Lynn, you mentioned that we're in the middle of doing some what are they called in the sky, the eclipses. Thank you. We've got a couple of those going on, and there's some funny stuff going on in the air. What are some things that people need to be watching out for, ladies?
Well, the eclipse was last week, so I think I want to say like Wednesday was the eclipse. The eclipse was in the sign of Leo. Yours truly, I am a Leo. And so people who are Leos or have these really strong Leo placements really felt the eclipse. And generally what eclipses do is they kind of wipe some slates clean and they kind of rearrange the chess pieces on the board. So if you're doing something that you don't need to be doing right now or at all, it just kind of goes, nope, not happening. For those of us who are Leos, when the universe eclipses you, it feels like you are cosmically grounded. And I don't mean in like the spiritual grounded way. I mean like grounded, you can't go out and play, no one can talk to you. And, you know, I got eclipsed on Wednesday. And here's how it went down for me. To make a very long story short, there are two situations. One from several years ago, one that is just beginning, and they've both been kind of given to me to kind of have like an energetic stewardship about, you know, like I do tarot professionally, but then I also do Reiki, and sometimes I just show up and send that Reiki energy quietly and then go on my merry way and say, okay, I helped lift the vibe in this place. So it's a situation like that. And on the day of the eclipse, I got a phone call from someone I had not talked to in years that basically said, hey, Lynn, here's an update on that situation. This other person's involved now. It's out of our hands. Is there anything else that we need to know before this just leaves entirely? And I said, ooh. And then 2 days later, the new situation fell in my lap. And so that's kind of how eclipses work. At the same time, though, I got eclipsed, and it was like I had plans with several sets of friends that couldn't happen. I got sick, they got sick, and it was just like, Lynn, stay in your house. So if you don't know astrologically that that's the thing that is happening, it can feel really heavy-handed. It can feel like suddenly the party got crashed and I didn't do anything wrong. So that's some of the energy. The other energy that's been around, you know, it's been Leo and Cancer. It's been kind of a cranky time for some people. And generally speaking, we have Saturn that retrograded back into Aries. It's retrograding, and so for the next 6 months, it's like do-overs, starting overs, going back and restarting things. But there's this sense of like we had forward momentum, and now we've been set back a couple steps, not like catastrophically, but still step back a couple steps. You know, we know how to go forward, but who wants that?
So, how are you feeling? I know that you were battling an illness for a little bit, but how are you feeling?
I'm doing all right. You know, I'm definitely fighting off the flare. You know, it's just a seasonal thing. Usually I get hit with it a little bit later in the year, but this year it was like June. The weather just shifted. You know, it's like anything else. You gotta stay hydrated, you gotta get sleep, you gotta listen to your body, eat and drink the things that make sense. take the vitamins, go for the walk. I mean, those are really like the remedies for everything, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I know that this heat has taken a toll on so many people, and this is just a message to all the firefighters who are out there and all the emergency people who are out there right now. Thank you for all the work that you do, because you guys and gals are miracle workers, and you guys, y'all are out there saving lives, and we thank you very much for that. So. But, without you, there'd be more hectic situations, and we greatly appreciate that. So,
Yeah, you mentioned that. I just saw something recently. It was talking about, I think it was Arizona, and it was talking about essentially how the heat is impacting people who are homeless, because now if they're outside, they're getting like first and second degree burns and things like that from just laying out, and that, you call the fire, the ambulance, and they just kind of have to show up with ice. Like, that's the new thing, is like having ice, like ice cubes on hand.
yeah, and people have this misconception that, well, they're just out there camping, that's all this is. And no, there's a lot more to it. I mean, they don't have full access to water, they don't have, protection from the sun, they don't have a place to go and cool down, and those are things that are needed. You cannot, you can't be in 100-degree temperatures for an extended period of time. And another thing is, don't leave your damn animals out there either. So, I know we get nervous when we leave ours out for 5 minutes, because, well, I think we've already fried their brains enough, but but we really do. We worry about even our animals. We don't want them to be out there in this. So, but so Adrian's got some interesting things going on with work, and she's working a lot of extra time and stuff, and. I was just wondering if the cards are saying anything about that. Is she making the right decision on the with accepting all these crazy hours? And
yeah, it's called money.
Yeah. Well.
Why would I not?
Okay. I have a question. Grandpa, a grandfather that has passed on, do either one of you have one that could potentially be hovering?
Either one.
Okay. It's weird because normally when I start, I get kind of like a, little premonition of like who and what is showing up. So I have this presence around me. I just got this mediumship deck. I've been like practicing with it, but today was not a practice day. Today was just like a message from the universe, break out your deck. So I'm pulling the grandfather card.
Who he is?
Say what?
Is he showing you anything about who he is, what he looks like, anything?
There's the grandfather card. There's this card that says signs. I'm showing you signs. Look for them. And there's two trees that comes out. And so they're saying they're sending a sign, and then we have 2 trees. So I don't know if that's like, look for the trees, or that there's some kind of significance.
The twins.
It's not trees.
No.
But, yeah, I mean, that's very possible. His grandpa's got twin towers that he built out here. And they're like cell phone antenna towers.
Uh-huh. Are they, where are they in relation to you? Are they like...
In the same town.
In the same town?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're probably about 2.5 miles from us.
Okay, interesting. The other card that popped out is like the Ace of Embers. This would be like the Ace of Wands. This would be like a spark. which is a little weird because like I look at this card and I'm like, that looks like fire. So I don't want to sit here and say, oh hey, things are going to catch on fire. It could be more of like a metaphorical spark sort of thing. It could also indicate a pregnancy. That's like an alternate meaning.
Yeah, we were just talking the other day that he wanted to go get a piece of it if they ever took it down because they're pretty much, obsolete at this point.
Yeah, they're old radio towers, so they're not, they're not used for anything. But my grandfather put up the majority of the radio towers in like a 4-state area. It was Rocky Mountain Tower that put up towers in Kansas, Colorado, Nebraska, Oklahoma, and Nevada. That was my grandfather that put those up. And
wow.
So,
They want to go check and see if they're taking them down.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it is ironic that we were just talking about that last week on Wednesday, I believe.
On the weekend when we, maybe.
Oh, okay.
Maybe, I don't know. My days are running together. I'm getting a bath.
I'm getting like another thing. It's weird. I didn't know what was going to happen tonight. This is like a very interesting sort of thing. I'm using this deck because I was told to like bring out this deck. This like death card flipped out, which is always the like, hey, some kind of spirit is lingering around here. And it's the second time that card came out. I tried to tuck it back in the deck. This is the other one that came out for the second time that I tried to tuck back, was a reversed past lives card. Which kind of, to me, shows someone who has been gone for a minute, not someone who, like, recently passed. Here are the rest of the cards that came out. We have this Sleeping Ships card, which talks about a situation where people kind of keep missing each other. Like, you're going that way and I'm going this way and we're passing, but we're not, like, in the same place at the same time. We have a reversed orbs card, and the message that I'm getting is, I'm not haunting you. Which usually orbs are like things floating around, so you're not being haunted. There's a reversed life on Earth, which is like, I'm not incarnated here on Earth, and I'm not coming back to Earth, which is what I take this past lives card to be. Like, we're done with Earth things.
There's your embers.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah. The last card here is a reversed 9 of trees, which talks about somebody who has done all that they needed to do. It's kind of, you think of the 9 as almost like an investment kind of card, and they put in as much as they needed to, and now they're just done. So if this is Grandpa, Grandpa feels like he's in kind of a groovy place. Where like Grandpa is not coming back necessarily as anybody's like, grandson or nephew or like whatever. It sounds like Grandpa is just, going to one of those vacation planets we don't know about.
Well, I know he worked up till a week and a half before he passed. He was climbing those towers and up to about a week and a half before he passed. There was nothing going to keep him down. He fell off one of those towers onto a hospital. They set his leg, and then they couldn't find him because he was back up on that tower. And he said, they went and they said, "Are you crazy?" And he goes, "No, but I do have a deadline." And that was Grandpa. Things didn't get in the way of work. That's really who he was, and you know, one of the things that I always respected about him was, you know, nothing got in the way of his work. And you know, I originally moved down here because I was wanting to maybe take over his company, and I got about a fifth of the way up one of those towers, and I realized, nope, that ain't happening. That ain't happening. And you know, and so I told him, you know what, Grandpa, you keep putting them up, and I'll just talk on them. So and you know, that's kind of where we're at now.
I pulled one more card as you were talking about when you said that he like landed on the hospital, and I pulled this card and it says, "Maybe it's time to let the old ways die."
Yeah.
So if this is maybe like a message about that type of work ethic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah. You can't let work kill you. It's actually really funny, Lynn. We've been talking about that quite a bit this last week. How, you know, vacations, like when you go in to look for a job, people are asking about your vacations and your hobbies and stuff more because they want to make sure that you're taking care of yourself. That work is not everything in your life, because that's not a healthy life to have. And I think that is, I think it's really telling that, you know, we're in a state where everybody's always push, push, go, go, go. And yet, you know, when you go in for this application, they want to make sure that there's something more to life than just being there in the office, because they don't want to have you to burn out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's we have gone so long where it has been unacceptable to talk about even just the basic need for the vacation, right? Like, oh, hey, your contract says you get 10 vacation days and 10 sick days, but like, God forbid you try to use one of those days. It's like, well, hey, what are you doing? And you know, you used 4 sick days. Well, they're my sick days. I can use them. Well, you know, you're not dependable. I mean, and people got so afraid of just, you know, saying, hey, I need rest, I need food, I need to, you know, attend to my basic things. But yeah, I am happy about normalizing the idea that people have other things going on, that it's not just work, work, work. Because you're right, it's, you know, people can develop workaholism, you know? I mean, I definitely have to pull myself away from work in any way, shape, or form on the regular, you know? Like, I have alarms set that are just like, put the email down, put the book down, put the other thing down, and just sit. Easier said than done.
Mm-hmm.
She had to break me of the habit of, I mean, I was working 20 hours a day.
You were sleeping 20 hours a day some days too.
Well,
So
yeah, but you know, I would work myself to exhaustion, and then my head would turn backwards on me, and yeah, I was sleeping for 20 hours a day. But I mean, it was, I would be working at, you know, 3 o'clock in the morning, and just because, well, I'm awake, I can't sleep. Then I was laying down at 9 o'clock in the morning and sleeping until 3, you know, when I could actually be active. But, you know, things were a little bit different then. But as I told you on family networking, you know, everything I've ever done in my life, all of the addictions that I've had, I always want to win a prize. I want to be the absolute, I wanted to drink more than any other human in the world. I wanted to smoke more than any other human in the world, and by God, I just about did. So, you know, and I wanted to work more than any other person in the world. That's who you know, for the longest time, that's what I thought was going to get me somewhere, by doing it better than anyone else.
Mm-hmm.
So, but,
I think there's also like something to be said about looking for where is the limit. You know what I mean? Like, part of the adventure is kind of seeing like, well, where does the road end? You know, like where do I get? And then there's just the cliff. You know, like that's part of it also. And if it's something that is like not a substance or not work, then people can kind of pursue those interests all the way to the end, and it's okay.
yeah. Well, we're actually kind of in a really good spot right now because we're about 6 hours away from our granddaughters. You know, about 5.5 hours away from two of our granddaughters. 11 hours away from the other kids, which kind of sucks. But, you know, we're in a position where we could, if we wanted to, you know, get off at 6 o'clock on Friday, take and be in Kansas and be ready to be there first thing in the morning, stay there on you know, over Saturday night, and then come back home. We're lucky that we're in that position.
We
you
are
know?
not in that position. Where do you live? We have 5 dogs. 4.5, 5.5 dogs.
Well,
Taken care of.
if we plan right, we can do it. So, and we've been pretty lucky about that so far. But
Yeah, but we can't do that anymore.
yeah.
That's a no now.
But yeah, and then of course we've got our son in Denver. You know, so I mean that's. But hell, it's almost harder to get down to Denver than it is to Kansas.
I don't go to Denver.
Well, you're going to Denver here in a month.
For what?
Your little thing at work.
That's not Denver.
It's Westminster. It is Denver.
It's not.
So, what else are the cards saying about anything? Like, we've got a difficult time going on right now when it comes to people getting along. What are the cards saying that we need to do? Are they saying anything that we can do something to maybe wake up a little bit and start treating people a little bit better?
I'm gonna let these guys out real quick.
Okay. And remember, all, if you're out there, hit up the little finger keyboard thing, and
Finger keyboard?
if you would like to join us live, just reach out and say, hey, I'd like to come on live and ask my question.
All right, so our question about people being kind of cranky and what do we need to know about how to get along better? What does that path look like?
And
So,
that's only because it's rude to say people are being assholes.
yeah. And you know, the first card that I'm pulling, the Ace of Lotuses or Ace of Cups, this is kind of saying the key is feelings. Not facts, not necessities, not things that, you know, necessarily need to have any kind of like financial impact or whatever. Like, these are really just people's feelings. And the card that is reversed, that is saying the energy is off here, is the Seven of Cups. What this card is saying is people don't know how to take care of themselves. And so this is more like people are cranky because they're exhausted, because they are not doing enough to take care of themselves, and they're just kind of spread too thin, and now are just stuck in that place where they're spread too thin. I know that is true for me. I know that is true for everyone in my inner circle that I have been able to talk to. And I know a couple people have dropped off that I just assume are, you know, in the thick of it and are going to be able to resurface at some point. But that's a pretty common energy, and some ways that we can think about this are not that no one knows how to take care of themselves, period. Remember, we talked about Saturn retrograding in Aries and like starting over, or getting a couple steps set back. It's like, well, I knew how to take care of myself and manage in that situation. Well, what happens when that situation changes? What happens when those factors are removed? Suddenly, those things I was doing to take care of myself don't work anymore. And I have to learn again, and I have to manage this thing again. So it's a setback that we're kind of all experiencing in some way, but it's not a permanent setback. It's like, hey, you know what you need to do. It's more like developing the habit.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but isn't that kind of like telling us that, you know what, maybe it's time that you worry about your own yard and
Yes.
leave your neighbors alone. I mean,
Yes.
that's kind of what I hear about what you're saying, and I think that is something just perfect. That your grass doesn't look great either, so maybe concentrate on that, and I'll work on my lawn, and maybe we can make it to where we can win, because we're not going to win the best neighborhood in Greeley if we don't all work together.
Right.
So
That eclipse happened in Leo, right? And Leo, we think of leadership. We think of like, oh, there's something wrong. That's the person in charge. That's the person who's handling that. Well, what happens when the boss goes on vacation? What happens when the boss is not there? Like, they're just not there. Things just have to get handled, or they're just going to fall through the cracks. But whatever is happening, now that person's not there to take care of it. And so, we kind of all have a set of things that we say, well, this has to get done. This has to get done now. I don't have any other time. I can't fit this in. I can't do this. I can't do this. But when we push too hard, and then we have that, like, well, now I have to spend 21 hours sleeping or whatever, like, we can kind of pick which path. It can go like this, or it can be kind of a more even trajectory. But the hard part about that Leo energy and leadership energy is when you're so used to taking ownership and taking responsibility and being in charge and taking control, that's where pride sneaks in. This idea that if I don't do something, the world is going to fall apart. Everything is going to go to shit if I don't if I don't push myself in this one moment. And, lately I think we can see in different areas the people around us like pushing and pushing and pushing. And 10 of Wands, 10 of Embers, this is like you have pushed as far as you can possibly go. It's not always clear cut how to help somebody once they get to that 10 of Embers place and they've worked as hard as they can push. We're coming up with a reversed 6 of Cups. This card would normally be like, hey, here are the things that work and that help, and it's reversed, and so it's saying like, once people get really burned out like that, it's hard to know what helps. So for example, if I thought that you were pushing too hard, Zach, and I said, Zach really shouldn't be doing Lynnsday tonight, right? If I were to reach out to you and say, hey, Zach, why don't you just kind of take a rest and we'll pick it up next month? Are you already in a place that if I say that to you, instead of saying, oh, thank God somebody pulled the plug on this, now I can like go to bed, right? Would that cause you to panic? Like, oh no, she saw me slipping, she saw me failing, everyone saw me fumble the ball, I have to try even harder now, and right? So when that moment comes, it's not even clear to other people what is the thing that helps. Some people think, hey, I want to send you a text message and say I'm thinking of you and all that kind of stuff. And some people are like, oh, I feel so guilty, I haven't talked to all these people, now they're texting me because I haven't reached out, and I feel even worse because I haven't reached out. So, when people are maxed out, the logic goes away. We're pulling the 6 of Birds or the 6 of Swords, saying that a new paradigm is needed, which gets to what we were talking about before. We're like, hey, it's okay to take a break. It's okay to, have hobbies and have a life and have anything outside of work. This is part of the paradigm shift that's happening. So we had this like reversed 6 and now an upright 6. So it's saying we're going to rethink what helps, and what helps is kind of shifting the general, what is acceptable and what is not sometimes, rather than focusing on like a specific situation. We are pulling the reversed Karma card, which is always a heavy hitter. But I think in this case, it reminds us what is and is not ours to solve, reminding us that we have reach that only goes so far. So, like, if I'm overextended for whatever the reasons, and the things that I'm doing are things that I'm supposed to be doing, then there may be this other thing going on that I want to also help, but, like, I'm just stretched too thin. And there's this idea that, you know, we're not given any more than we can handle. And so when we start feeling like, oh, this is more than I can handle, then the question becomes, well, if I'm not going to be given any more than what I can handle, then did I give myself the thing that I can't handle? So there's that piece. There's also the sacrifice card, which does remind us that sometimes when things are going poorly, we do have to make cuts and make decisions that we don't want to. You know, inevitably things kind of get lost in the shuffle. The orbs card is back, but it's upright this time, and so it's reminding us that all of our loved ones and all of our, you know, spirit guides and things like that haven't gone anywhere. They're still here. Something I saw online earlier today mentioned, what the person said was, if you're wondering why you're not healing, maybe you're not supposed to be healing, maybe you're supposed to be revolting. Like, maybe this situation is supposed to kind of make you feel something that makes you want to radically change things. And so, you know, the key being the feelings. For whatever the reason, people are maxed out across the board as far as they can be. They don't even know how to help themselves. No one else knows how to help either. And this is kind of the collective moment where we say we need to rethink this.
Yeah, I really do take from that, you know, I think one of the reasons why we don't know how to help ourselves anymore is because we have been so concentrated on what other people are doing. You know, we are more concerned about what our neighbor does and what the guy across the street does, that we kind of forget that we need to take care of our own selves. You know, the whole put the mask on yourself first, you know. I mean,
Exactly.
this is something that we need to remember, that look, you know, the glass house theory, all of these things. These are things that you need to, you know, that people need to really get back to, because, you know, there's nobody perfect in this world. Nobody. And to get on somebody and kind of forget that, you know, they're your neighbor. You guys were friends once, or they're your relative. They were your friend. You know, you have a deeper relationship than friends. You know, you've got kinship, and you're letting things get in between you. You know, this is something that we can't allow anymore. And you know, I don't think that we're down so deep that we can't recover. I really don't think we are. And I think that if we can just get back to the point where, you know, not everything is all capital letters on social media, you know, and no, I'm not talking about the orange man when I say that. I'm talking about, you know, yelling at each other on social media. You know, maybe it's put down social media and have a phone call. Because how many times have you gotten into a disagreement with somebody, and it turns out you were saying the exact same thing, but now you're so pissed off at each other that it doesn't matter that you were saying the same damn thing. You're going to argue now because you were agreeing with each other, and you know, and you guys just couldn't see it. And so this is really, you know, I think that's a poison of social media, that people, you know, that's where what my son made a lot of sense to me. Dad, you can't write like you speak, because it doesn't make any sense.
Yes.
I never realized that until he said that, and then made me go back and read what I wrote.
Zach, I had this conversation with my partner Alex yesterday about writing, because somebody had asked me.
The arms and torso guy.
Yeah, exactly. Alex and I were talking about writing because somebody had asked me to write a review for them, and it's one of those things where it just flows so smoothly and quickly in my head, but then to get it out of my hands, it's hours and hours to get out like 3 paragraphs. And I'm like, come on, I used to be an English lit major in college. I used to crank out papers. I was a good writer. What happened? And exactly to your point, do you know what happened, Zach? Social media happened, because now, certain words and phrases that would have been elevated and unique are now very widely used and have taken on their own nuances and their own meanings.
We lost your microphone. I don't know what happened. We lost your microphone.
Interesting. How about now?
No, I still can't hear you.
How about now?
I don't know what happened there, but yeah, with what you were saying while you're playing around with that, Red Friday is something very important to me. You know that. And I make statements about it all the time, and I try to convince people that, look, Red Friday is not supporting a political party. It's not supporting a religion. It's not supporting the war. It's supporting the men and women who are away from their families. Like, look at the people who are on the Abraham Lincoln right now, who are suffering. Their families are suffering dearly because they're having difficulties out there right now. And this is supporting them, making a statement to them. And people are so afraid to wear red right now because they feel like it's been kidnapped by one side or the other. And I don't give a damn. I'm going to wear my red every Friday. And if you want to see me as whatever you want, that's fine. I am not going to be dictated by, first off, I'm a Devils fan. Football's coming up. I like the Chiefs. So if I can't wear red, I'm in trouble because I've got a lot of red clothing. But yeah, I don't know what happened, Lynn. But
I don't know either. I don't know
either.
either.
Your microphone at all. So I guess the world is telling us that we're done for the evening. So. Yeah. But so we'll go on ahead and we'll kind of end this early, and then I'll reach out to you sometime tomorrow. But I want to thank you very much. Again, please reach out to Lynn today. Scan the QR code. Let me make it a little bit bigger for you to see. But yeah, scan the QR code. That'll take you to Lynn's website, or her page on our website, and then you can get to her. If you would like an introduction, all you have to do is simply reach out to me and say, Zach, I would like to meet Lynn. Adrian, I'd like to meet Lynn. We will make that happen. So, Lynn, I terribly sorry we lost your we lost your microphone. That's terrible.
It made it through most of it. That's good.
Yeah, and we got a good message out. We did get a good message out. So, but we will see you next month on the second Tuesday of the month, and please make sure to tell your friends to be here for the show so we can have free tarot readings at one time a month for Lynnsday. So thank you, my dear. I appreciate it.
Wonderful.
So we'll see you later. So hey everybody, I want to say thank you very much for joining us tonight. For Lynn, for my beautiful wife, Adrian, I'm Zach Clayton, President and Founder, Community Pay It Forward, the Come Together Compass and Pact Podcasting Networks, reminding you to please love somebody out there because somebody out here loves you. And always remember that if you're not helping someone, you're hurting everyone. No one ever needs to go it alone when we all come together. We will see you next week, hopefully with a Viva. Hopefully we can get that back on track. So, but thank you all very much. Bye.
Hello world, my name is Z, or you can call me Mr. Z. I am a web developer, and I am also a consultant at Z World Webs. My one goal is to develop custom websites that are specifically catered to your organization's needs. I completely understand that building a website is an exhilarating, exciting, and significant step in connecting with your audience. Your organization has Z potential to make a meaningful impact, whether it's supporting animal rights, advocating for equality, combating human trafficking, or honoring the brave individuals who have served our country. Your mission is too important to be held back by the challenges a website can present. And I am here to ensure that your website works for you, not against you. Whether it's maintaining, developing, or redeveloping a custom website that is specifically catered to your needs. And with that being said, I would be more than delighted to learn more about your organization and, of course, develop a website Z World is waiting for. Thank you.
Bring me home, out alone, to show me the way. You wanna hold the heart of Sunset Boulevard. Bring me here, 'cause it's not quite clear to be a part of Sunset Boulevard.